Welcome, everyone, to Igniting the Worldwide Spiritual Wildfire We Need Now Global Online Summit. We live in extraordinary times, both exceptionally promising and radically uncertain. Yet as we dive into uncharted waters and move closer to a critical tipping point, we see a worldwide awakening beginning to catch fire. If you're listening to this summit, you are definitely part of the amazing shift that is beginning to transform this world like a spiritual wildfire. During this summit, you'll hear from 24 amazing speakers who each in their own unique ways have been the visionaries, the way showers, and the pioneers leading the way to the paradigm shift that is unfolding now. This summit offers inspiration, healing, and empowering practical tools to anyone who is ready to courageously use their own light to help spread this worldwide spiritual wildfire. Together, we can create a new world based in compassion, wisdom, justice, and joy. My name is Joan, and I am your host, creator, and producer of the Spiritual Wildfire Summit. And I want to extend a warm welcome to all of you. Thank you so much for registering for this summit. Today, I'm really excited and really honored and very grateful to interview Vanessa Fourcaudot. Vanessa is a coach and guide to visionaries who want to change their world and the world in service to love and life. She partners with them in a loving and compassionate way to create a conscious container for deep transformation and healing. She is passionate about empowerment, authentic relating, and love. She creatively weaves into her coaching and teachings learnings from her experiences as a scientist, mountain leader, and traveler, and all the tantric and shamanic transmissions she received from the teachers she was and is blessed to meet on her path. She lives in France, but feels at home everywhere on earth. She draws her strength and visions from her deep love and reverence for life. Her concern for the state of the earth's biodiversity was the spark that led her to create Voix de Gaia, her heart's business that hosts all of her online offerings to the world. Her hope is that the worldwide expansion will support a global awakening and shifting of our society's values toward global brother and sisterhood and co-creation and cooperation with all of the web of life. Her topic today is love as a guide to act. Vanessa, I just want to thank you so much for being here, for accepting my invitation. I'm really excited about this interview, so thank you so much.
Thank you for inviting me.
You are so welcome.
Such a gift.
It is, isn't it? It's a gift to be able to share like this, to a global audience. Yeah, I agree. So I'm really thankful that you're here. And so should we just go ahead and start diving into some questions? All right, great. All right. So I just love the title of your topic today. Love is a guide to act, because that's really what it comes down to. And I'm wondering if you could share with us a few words about your journey with love. How did your journey with love begin?
Ooh, it began a long time ago. I think I don't even remember when it began. But the most important point of my journey is that at some point I lost touch with love. And I didn't love myself. I wasn't really open to receive love from other people. And I had a lot of sadness and anger stored inside of me. And it really came again and coming back to feeling what love is and that it's safe to love, that I learned so much.
Wow. That's huge. That's a huge transformation, isn't it?
Yes, and now I would say I'm still recovering. I'm not totally there, but I'm really passionate about really trying to, in my life, in my everyday life, use love as my guide for whatever I do in life, and be it my coaching, be it how I relate with the people I love, be it how I buy, how I travel. So we try to put it, to use it all the time in my day to day, to learn, to keep learning and keep growing and keep going deeper. Because I think love has a lot of layers to it that we have to discover, and that's something I always knew. Like the love I was taught, the love I could see around me was only a tiny little part of it. That's something I don't know why, but I always knew there is something bigger to love.
Wow, that's so beautiful. And it feels to me, I'm wondering, it feels like a really huge opening, for you. And that, it seems like it requires a lot of vulnerability and courage, right? To lead from that love. Is that true?
Yes. And in French, the word courage is courage, which if you take it apart is cœur, which is the heart, and rage, which is the rage. So it's the rage of the heart.
Oh, I love that.
Yes. So, and that's something my attention was drawn to from a friend who she's also a love advocate and a courage advocate. And it's so true, because opening up our hearts is really vulnerable, and it really asks us to be courageous, because it's going to hurt, because everything we love we may lose, and everything we love we may not be loved in return. So it really may hurt a lot. It asks courage.
Wow, yeah.
But it puts us in another place when we accept, the day I accepted that I want to love, but it's going to hurt. It put me in another place. So sometimes I say, no, that's too much. I cannot take it because it's hurting too much. Like I still cannot look at it because it's too much. But there are some other things, step by step, I learned to say, okay, it's going to hurt, but I'm going to look at it anyway, because I love it, and I want to reconnect to this love that I feel for, I don't know, a person, a landscape, a place, an idea.
Beautiful. I know that you feel passionately, about the earth, that you love the earth, really deeply, as do I. And I was just curious, were you born with this passion, or was it something that developed along the way? And then also, when we feel so much for the earth, right, that can hurt sometimes to really open up and love that deeply. And so how do you reconcile that, maybe, the grief that you might feel with your love? So, have you always loved all of that? Yeah.
Yeah. So that's, my love for the earth is my biggest heartbreak in my case.
Yeah.
That's the love that makes me suffer most, because I love her so deeply, and I just see all the destruction that is being done because of ignorance and because of disconnection with our love. Because naturally, and I think naturally, we all love our planet, we all love our earth, we all love our land, we love the place where we grew up and that made us who we are. But there's no transmission around this in our society. And so our awareness is not raised to it, and so we forget. And that's what I say, like, you lose this love. And in my case, it was really one of my big losses, was this love for the earth. When I was small, when I was a little girl, I already was in love. Like, I had only books about plants and animals, and I played in the garden, and I wanted to be outside all the time. And I went to the zoo every weekend because I wanted to know the animals, and I wrote stories about them, and I read all the books I could find. So I already was quite passionate about wildlife and nature.
Yes.
And so a big heartbreak for me was when I discovered that the dolphins and the whales, which were my favorite animals at that time, were being hunted and killed and for fishing and so that was a terrible heartbreak. And so it closed my heart and I forgot about it.
Wow.
And it was only recently when I started to feel this longing and this call for reconnection to nature, reconnection to the earth, reconnection to the web of life, that I remembered that someday I had loved these animals and that there was, I know exactly the day it happened. I saw a Greenpeace flyer with these terrible images of whales and dolphins in fisher nets, and it broke my heart. Mm-hmm. And so I had to remember, and then I had to cry, and I cried for a long time. I had you have seen me in my grieving crisis. Mm-hmm. Where I just cried for a few days, and it hurt a lot. And that's what I say, when we accept, when we surrender mm-hmm. to the type of suffering, it's a bit of suffering. We just let it go through our system, then it's like a thunderstorm. Then at some point the sun comes back and I can reconnect with my love until I feel the next heartbreak.
Oh, yes, right.
But what I'm learning is not to resist it. Is not to over. It's not to create something that doesn't exist. But when it's there, mm-hmm. it's not to resist it. And to also create a container for me where I feel I can really go through this grief and go through this heartbreak. And now that I've gone through it a few times, I know at some point I'm going to recover. And I also know that the more I surrender to it and the more I just let it pass through me and then really become true to my feelings, the quicker it goes.
Oh, that is so, I know that there are so many listeners that also feel this really deep love and passion for the earth. And I think what you just said is so helpful to not resist it, to actually feel it, to feel it. And that image, that metaphor of the thunderstorm and then the sun coming out, that's a really, really beautiful metaphor. And you may have heard this from Joanna Macy, and this is what helps me a lot too. She says, and I'm wondering what you think about this quote: "As your heart breaks open, there will be more room for the world to heal. That is what is happening when we see people honestly confronting the sorrows of our time." What do you think about that?
Yeah, so Joanna Macy is one of my big heroines. I've read all her books, and I'm just every time I can grasp something from her, I'm like, oh, Joanna Macy.
Right.
And I so agree. Like when we heal our own hurts, it creates space for the world somehow to heal. We don't know how it's going to heal. We don't know the effect it's going to have. Yeah. But for sure, we are not alone. We're not separate. So for sure, it's going to have some repercussion on the people around me, on the place, on the land. I had a long time also where I was crying for my land because I have a deep attachment to a little place in France, a little village. And so it's industrial agriculture around it, and they are spraying a lot of pesticides. And that, when I was like 10 years ago, there were a lot of wild orchideas, wild orchids.
Okay.
And they are so fascinating to me. They are so fascinating to me, and they are all disappearing because of the pesticides. And so I just went to the land and I told it, look, I'm so sad because we are harming you, and so what can I do? And I cried, and I went a lot of time, and only the fact that just telling it, like, look, I'm so sad for what is happening to you.
Yeah.
It's just like I speak about it and I feel my my heart is contracting, but just to be honest and say, look, I don't know how I can help you, but I just tell you, and it makes me hurt to see what they are doing to you. And again, it's not people, they are not with evil intention. It's just, they don't know.
Right.
They were told when you want to be a successful farmer, you need to use this type of seeds and spray. It's just because they don't know. Maybe they were taught differently.
Yeah.
They would do it.
I think that's really beautiful that you actually went out to the land and actually, talked with it and listened to her. And that feels like so important to me, for us to actually rebuild our relationship with this beautiful earth, so that we can just talk to her and communicate and listen with her. So I think that's beautiful. Is there anything more you want to share about that at all?
Because the land and the earth, they are living beings. So they receive the vibration, they receive our message, and then I don't know what happens with it, but I know she's receiving it, and also, and even if she wasn't, at least for me, it just creates a space where I can express my feelings.
Yeah.
And expressing how we feel, expressing our feelings with honesty and really humility and vulnerability is so liberating. When we learn to show who we really are. And it's not easy. I was really afraid, and when I created, or when I was given the name Voix de Gaia for my business, I was like, oof, what am I going to do with this? That's not me. And I felt really, really afraid. And step after step, I'm becoming more acquainted, and I'm discovering what she's about, because I say she's a separate entity from myself, and she's my teacher. And so it's I was so to say it's not easy, but it's so liberating, because it also brings us closer to ourselves, to who we are. I can just express what I feel.
Beautiful. So then, how can we access love and cultivate love within ourselves?
So there are different ways. One way is through, when you look around you where you are, just looking at what you like, something that draws your attention and you feel good about it, and just remembering the feeling of, I don't know, I see a plant and I like plants, and it's this feeling of there is a connection, and to a bigger extent, because I love plants, and so that's a very easy way to cultivate, to reconnect with love, because it can really be with whatever object, I don't know, you have a beautiful sculpture, you have a book you like, just like looking at it and feeling, there's something happening in my chest here, in my heart area. And then there is this listening to our rage of our heart, like being courageous and saying, okay, I can't look at it because it hurts, so I'm going to look at it 1 second and just feel the heart for 1 second.
Oh.
And then I will do something else. And then when I have gathered my strength again, I'll go and look at it again for 2 seconds and feel the hurt, for how it hurts me for 2 seconds. And then I go away again. Because what I learned in my own journey, when you love, the more you love, the more it hurts. And so sometimes the love is so big, and it's totally natural. You cannot hold all the hurt. It's going to destroy you, because it's just too big. Your system cannot take it. Your body cannot take it. And it's not what it's about. It's not about forcing or about wanting to be a hero. So just go one step at a time.
Okay.
But at least, it's 1 second. Today you did something you have not done for years. You looked at it for 1 second and you felt this little spark of hurt for 1 second. And that's already big. That's something that is going to change a lot of things inside of you. And so like going with little steps but on a daily basis with little steps. We don't need to do big ceremonies. We don't need to do big cathartic releases. It's just like I'm cooking, and I'm seeing my carrot, and I love carrots. So I'm going to connect with this feeling that they taste so good. I love all the way of eating them. I love how they grow in the garden, and it makes me think of a friend who's a vegetable farmer, and I really like him. And so I feel, my heart is expanding.
Yeah.
And so that's like our heart is a muscle, so it's about gymnastics.
Right.
And so that's the way to create outside love. But then there is for me at least, the most difficult path is to create love for myself.
Yeah.
And so that's also a journey. But I would say, and actually I realize I'm doing the same. Like the more I travel on this journey, the more I realize that it's not about trying to push myself. And it's like, okay, how much can I love myself today? And just being okay with it. Like, today I cannot love myself. Well, it's fine. I'm going to be honest with myself. Today I cannot. And I can ask myself tomorrow and see, maybe something happened. I don't know. I did something that I'm really proud about. And so I love myself a little bit more. Okay. So today I love myself a little bit more. And so that's a way. And also, so as I say, that's something I've been practicing now for a year with a program I was doing, to really celebrate every day something I did, something I'm proud about myself, something even really small things. And I talked with a client a few days ago, and she was saying me, but everyone does it. I was like, but it doesn't matter if everyone does it. It's not about, the rest of the world. It's about you, how you feel about what you do, how you behave, what you say.
Yeah.
Realize. So just celebrating your little victories every day, and just realizing that you are a good person. You are perfect as you are, and you can do great things, and you do good. And so, like, again, every day, every day one celebration, and then someday two, and someday you have big ones, and then you can also dance, and then you start practicing, and so it's like the snowball. At the beginning it's one snowflake, and then it adds, and then it becomes bigger, and then it rolls down the mountain, and it's an avalanche. And
an avalanche of love.
Yes.
That's great. I love that. I think that's true for many of us, that it could be really challenging for us to really, meet ourselves right where we are, and really deeply love ourselves. So I love these little tools that you're giving us, one day at a time. Okay, so today, I can really pat myself on the back and love myself, even more, because that's where it all begins, right? It's that connection and love with ourselves, would you say?
Yes. Well, in Tantra we say, so the inner, so the outer. So if I can love myself, it doesn't mean, if I can't love myself, it doesn't mean I can't love others. It just means it's easier.
Okay.
Love others. That's how I understand it from my personal experience. The more I love myself, the more easier it is to love even people that I'm afraid of or that I don't trust, because I feel the stability inside of me. I feel that, okay, there is this love that doesn't depend on anyone outside of me. It's something between me and myself.
Yeah.
It's just creating this relationship between me and myself. And so as my love for myself grows, so it's easier. It becomes easier to love outside. And something I wanted to say also is that often, okay, I have to love myself. So we put a big goal. So that's the goal-oriented way of doing things. Like we have been doing a lot, like a very young energy, like, okay, there is a big goal to achieve, and I have to go there, and I have to. But another way is to say, I don't know where I'm going. Like, I'm going somewhere there towards some type of loving myself a bit more. And I don't know exactly where it is, but I know it's more or less in this direction.
Mm.
So what is the step? But what is the step I can take today that takes me a bit more close to this direction? And I'm going to discover as I walk. I'm going to discover where I'm going. And actually, that's also what happens in our life. You know, when we were born, we didn't know. I didn't know I was going to be the coach I'm now. I could never have imagined it. Like even 1 year ago, I didn't know. So, but I took it one step at a time. And recently, everything I've created recently, it was just like I almost created it from 1 week to the other.
Yeah.
Because I was really true to what was there in the moment. And the same with my self-love. I try to be true with what is there in the moment. And from there, it leads me to another place and another place. And then my path towards self-love is my path because it's different, because I have a different story. I come from a different place. I was born in it. So we all have our own beautiful path of going back to self-love. But to me, from my experience, it's easier when we, just go one step at a time.
Yeah.
And also be open to life has much more imagination than we have.
Yeah.
And so it's also walking and being open to where life wants to lead us and where life is guiding us. And maybe in my path towards self-love, I'm going to discover something I could never imagine I would discover. So that's also fun, you know, in the way it's like I've done a lot of alpinism, climbing mountains. And it's not about reaching the top, the summit of the mountain. Really not, because that's like 1 second in a whole journey. So if you don't have fun all the rest of the time, then it's not worth it, because
Right.
you're going to have a really bad time all the time and just 1 second of joy, and then you have to. So it's about trying to enjoy it on the way, every step of the way.
Right. Yes. So you've shared with us a lot about love and, feeling love, and you are really inviting us to, it feels like, drop down out of here and more into here and really begin to let this spiritual love muscle, really expand. But how do we know it is love? How do we know it is love? You know what I mean?
That's a really, really good question. So I don't have the answer. I have ideas how we know it is love. So my experience with love is that when I feel a certain level of love, I really feel an expansion, and I really feel like all of a sudden it's like time is slowing down, and I feel really grounded and really rooted and really connected. So then I say, okay, that is probably love. And when I feel something more contracted and more like clingy and I want it or I need it, then it's not love. I don't know. I don't remember if it was a Buddhist monk or someone who said, like, love is like you have your hand and you open it. And love is there in your open hand. And you're not attached that someone will come and take it. So because it's there, because if someone takes it, then there's going to be more all the time, and you're not. So that's a bit. That's how I'm experimenting with love, and really trying to find an embodied reference to know that it's love. Because in my head, a lot of things are going on. I'm commenting, I'm discussing, I'm judging, I'm evaluating, I'm thinking, I'm trying to forecast what is going to happen. But here, when I really slow down and listen, there are things that happen that I do not control. And they will tell me that it's love. So if I feel my heart expanding, opening, I can say, okay, maybe that's a good place to start, because there is this initial opening. And if I feel the contraction, it doesn't mean there isn't love. but it means there is something something around it. There is something that is asking to be healed, something that is asking to be seen. Because my belief also is that we all are loving beings. Like our nature is to be in love with all of the life and all of the universe and all of everyone. So everything that is not love, it means that it's something, a wounding or something that we don't know, that we have to learn, or something that we have to shift about how we perceive life and so it's not bad. I mean, life is not perfect, and so it's an opportunity. It's your being, your body, mind telling you, look, there is something you can heal. There is something that asks for love.
Thank you. So helpful. So then I'm wondering, let's say that more and more of us really, really begin to drop down into here and have the courage, like you said, the rage of the heart, to really open up. So how can love really guide us then, especially in these times that are challenging? If we really did open up, and how could life change, and how can love guide us?
So what I experienced in my personal journey is that every time I had this grieving crisis, then all of a sudden there was a surge of energy and I wanted to do something. So when we love, so like the extreme situation is the mother seeing her child almost crushed by a car. So she's going to run and to act and to push the car away or do something about it. But then, so I'm convinced we are all people that love, like we are love. So love wants us to act. Love wants us to do something for what we love. Like it's natural. We want to protect it. We want to take care of it. We want to see it thrive. We want to see it grow. We want to see it flourish. That's something we don't have any effort to do. It's really natural. So I would say every time we connect with what we love, the impulse to act will come effortlessly. So what brings you joy in your life, you always will find time to do it. You always will like to do it because you love it. So there is the impulse to act. The idea is really to see what do we love around us. What do I have in my surroundings? Who, what idea, and go there and be led by this love I feel, and then naturally there will be, I will want to do something about it. And then there is what I'm learning now or discovering is that sometimes you want revenge because we were hurt, because we felt. So I would say, and there I'm really on the path of discovery. So what I've learned until now is that I believe there is a healthy moment of anger because we were hurt, so we are angry, and so we want revenge. But because it's there, it doesn't mean we have to act on it.
Okay.
We can just be there. We can feel it. We can cry. We can punch a pillow. We can be really upset and really let our body mind process it. And just like the thunderstorm, it's going to be a emotional roller coaster, and we're going to be very upset, very angry, but we do not need to act on it. That's a natural defense mechanism. And after some time, when we really calm down, then there will be this impulse to act. And that this impulse, this one will be led by love. Even if, maybe it's something that doesn't have something to do directly with the cause that hurt you.
Yeah.
You say, let's do this. And then a few steps along the way, you realize, but yes, it's reconnecting. Like I took a side path go there. And that's what I'm experiencing now with my coaching.
Mm-hmm.
So my coach, I want to contribute to preserving biodiversity and the planet.
Mm-hmm.
And now I'm so this winter I'm going to coach a group of women about their dreams, and which could be any type of dreams. And I realize I attract to me a lot of women who have share the same dreams than I do.
Yes.
And so the connection was made effortlessly.
Oh, beautiful.
I'm back on track, although rationally I was thinking, no, but this has nothing to do with what I want to do. But yes, it has. Because I had to go one step further along the way to see that.
Wow, thank you. So as we begin to bring this interview to a close, I'm wondering if you would please share with our listeners the incredible generous gift that you're offering to our listeners. Yeah, and maybe a little bit more about your coaching practice too. Yeah.
Yes, so I'm offering 5 discovery sessions around love. So I'm in my coaching style, I'm a really curious person. So, and I'm really open-minded, and I love new ideas and new connections. So it's really exploring together for you. Well, how does your love want to act? How does your love want to manifest? And what's in its way? And it's also about learning to enjoy, because it's not going to happen in one night. That's I wish it would, but no, I don't wish it would, because we are learning so much on the way.
That's true.
Life is about learning.
Yeah.
And so also learning to see, okay, that's where I want to go. That's where my love draws me. But then, okay, what can I learn and what can I harvest on my path? What's this love and the impulse it will give me once I reconnect to this love? So that's what we will explore.
That's wonderful. So if people are interested, the link will be right underneath the interview, and they can just, click on that link, and they can apply for one of your 5 discovery calls. That's really, really beautiful. So Vanessa, I'm just curious as we close, if there's any final words or, wisdom comments that you want to share with our listeners, and what is it that brings you hope these days?
So what brings me hope is that with the work I do, I meet a lot of people who share my values and my inspiration, and it seems to me there are every day more, and I even meet people in places I wouldn't have thought they could be. Wow. So I really feeling there is something boiling up, like something is going to, it's growing. Yeah. So that really gives me hope. And as I said, like the internet connection really allows us also to have access to a lot of inspiring people. And so we realize, okay, I'm not alone, because what is so hard is when we feel alone, when we feel like I'm alone, and of course the problem of the planet is gigantic. Yeah. So when I'm alone, I have to do it on my own. It's impossible. So realizing that I'm not alone and there are a lot of people really helps me on my journey. So maybe, yes, my words of wisdom would be, don't journey alone. Look for inspiration. Look for people who have journeyed a few steps further than you in an inspiring way, and talk to them and ask advice and go towards these people. Look for, and this, I mean, it takes a bit of effort. You have to go out, you have to go into the world and look, and you will see things you like, and you will feel things you don't like. Yeah. Don't stay alone. If it's hard, if it hurts, don't stay alone. Go and choose who you're going to. Choose people that you know will support you. Choose people that you know will understand you right away. You won't have any effort to do to just explain them. Go to someone if you grieve for the planet, which is like my expertise. Go to people who share the same, and journey with them. And that is such. We're not meant to journey on our own.
Wow. Thank you so much, Vanessa. I so appreciate you taking the time and sharing all of your wisdom and really your love with all of the listeners. Just thank you so very, very much. Appreciate it.
Well, thank you for inviting me. It's such an honor and such a gift, really.
Yes. All right.
It's my Christmas.
I love that. All love. Take care.